Okay, so my current microphone is a bit busted right now. I ordered a new one, waiting for it. So apologies if the audio on this doesn't sound the best, but welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a bit of a two-parter. I'm going to be talking about the latest free agency news for the Sixers and also Summer League, the roster, the schedule, and just what I'm excited about in general. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, after a few days of inactivity, the Sixers finally make another free agent move. A fairly big one at that, in signing Caleb Martin to a 4-year, $32 million deal. Now, for those of you who may not fully know who Caleb Martin is, quick synopsis, he's been in the league about 5 years. He was an undrafted free agent in the 2019 draft, spent his first 2 years in Charlotte where he showed that he's a very much capable shooter and dribbler. And then for the last 3 years of his career, he has been in Miami. And for those of you who have paid attention to Miami, you would know that he was one of the more important pieces to that team, one of the main guys who contributed to their playoff and finals runs. Sure, his regular season stats may not be eye-popping, they may not grab your attention, but when it comes to the playoffs, he turns up to another level. So yeah, he's a great 3-and-D type wing. He's about 6'4". This past season, he averaged 10 points, 2.2 assists, 4 rebounds, shot about 35% from 3 and 43% from the field. He's a bit of a streaky shooter. Admittedly, he's a bit streaky at times, more of a microwave scorer. And he's also been labeled a bit of a Boston killer whenever he turns up in the postseason or regular season. So some of his best stats have come against the Boston Celtics on defense and offense. So yeah, perfect guy to have on the Sixers, in my opinion. I'm very cool with the signing. At first, the money took me back, but then I really looked at it, and so we're going to give him about $8 million a year, which still fits within our cap space situation. With this move, though, coinciding with it, we also had to waive Paul Reed, which is unfortunate. I didn't want to pass judgment on Paul after one bad playoff series. Yes, he is a player who was a bit wonky at times. Like Paul, sometimes he tried to do too much, I will admit. But Paul was still a suitable backup. He was a guy who really helped his team. We had that Celtics series last year when Joel was out. You know, it was a nice story. Going from a guy who was drafted, played in the G League for a bit, finally was starting to make a name for himself. But it is what it is. It's a business. And at the end of the day, I just hope that he has the best career moving forward. He'll definitely get picked up by someone. Good luck to Paul Reed for the rest of his career. Thank you for the time that you've given us. And yeah, welcome Caleb Martin. So with this move, we now have, I think, 4 roster spots left to fill. The only issue with this that I have is that we still don't have a true power forward. Paul George has the size and could play the 4 at times, and he played a lot of minutes at the 4 last year. But for me, I mainly would like to have Paul George at the small forward position. That's just the most ideal for me. And I don't know, maybe Daryl Morey has a plan in place to try to trade for one. A lot of people have been saying we should go for Dorian Finney-Smith. But yeah, we really have no natural 4s on this roster. There have been reports saying that our second-round pick, Adam Bona, is probably going to get a standard deal. Probably going to have to. That's probably the best case scenario because, again, we don't have any 4s. He's 6'8". He can fill that position well. He's like Paul Reed, but more conventional. He doesn't do as much like wonky stuff as Paul does. He's more of a traditional like center/4. So he could fill that spot. Probably wouldn't get a lot of minutes depending on how we stagger this roster. But yeah, so far our starting lineup with this Martin signing pretty much looks like Tyrese, Kelly, Paul George, Caleb Martin at the 4, and Joel Embiid, which sure, Martin could play a little bit of 4, but again, he is 6'4". Like he's not exactly the ideal size for a power forward. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. I would not mind putting him in the starting lineup. Honestly, though, I'd say put him at the 2, bring Kelly off the bench, and put Paul at the 3, and try to find a conventional 4. So we'll see how that goes. There have been multiple rumors and reports about how the Sixers can go about this, but either way, we're in a decent situation. Again, credit where credit is due. Daryl Morey's cap space plan, for the most part, has been working. It has worked. We got our 3rd star. We're filling out the roster. Yes, we might not be the best roster as far as depth, but hey, it's something. And this roster now constructed gives the best spacing on the floor that I think we've seen in a while. We have a bunch of shooters from Tyrese to Kelly to Paul to Martin to McCain to even Eric Gordon around Joel. And that's what we've been begging for as Sixers fans for so long. So this should help a lot. And also on the defensive end, Paul George, Martin, and even Kelly are all decent defenders in their own right. Paul George, we already know, one of the best two-way wings in the league. And Martin, I mean, he's had some very decent defensive stints, especially against Boston. So this should help us a lot. Hopefully it helps out with the Knicks as well, but I'm excited. Next, we get into Summer League, and this is probably my favorite thing to look forward to when it comes to the NBA offseason, even more than the draft. Seeing the new young crop of young players, rookies coming in and seeing what their potential could possibly be. Yes, it's only a handful of games in Summer League, but still, you can get a decent sample size from it. And I'm excited to see a lot of these new young Sixers on the floor showing what they got. Of course, the main person that a lot of people will be looking at, well, maybe the main two, is McCain and Ricky Council. Ricky Council, yes, has come back to play Summer League again. Jared McCain, of course, being a rookie, he's going to be in Summer League. Adam Bona is going to be in Summer League. And Justin Edwards as well, who is my top guy for Summer League. He's the one I'm really going to be looking at probably the most, maybe more than McCain. Because being a Philly native, being a guy that went undrafted, I'm really rooting for this kid, and I'm really hoping that he carves out a good career in the league, especially if it's on the Sixers. Listen, he went undrafted, but he was more than good enough to actually get picked in the draft. So the fact that he didn't get drafted is a shame. On the other hand, though, I am very happy that we snatched him up so quickly in the undrafted free agency pool. So yeah, and maybe playing for the home team, repping the home colors, you know, it'll give you a boost of confidence, and it'll give him what he needs to just go out, ball out, be comfortable, and yeah, just show upper management, show Morey, show the owners why you deserve to be on the roster. Not just a two-way guy, but actually getting minutes with the main roster, getting a standard contract. He's a guy, I believe, who doesn't really need a bunch of time in the G League. That's just me. I really don't believe he needs a bunch of time. So we'll see how it goes. At the time I'm recording this, this is literally the day before our first Summer League game. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited about it. Some guys that really caught me off guard when it came to the roster, though. Quick disclaimer, I gotta put this in. So we lost Turk Smith. For those of you who don't remember, Terquavion Smith was our second undrafted free agent from last year's draft, the 2023 draft, when we had no draft picks. And the only thing we got was the undrafted free agents. But regardless, Turk Smith is gone. He has been picked up by the Portland Trailblazers for their Summer League team. So that's going to be interesting. We do play them later on. So that'll be interesting, seeing a little Ricky Council, Turk Smith matchup. That's going to be fun. But best of luck to Turk. I hope all is well for him. I was really upset that we let him go. He was a great three-point shooter. For the roster, our roster itself, some names that caught me off guard was R.J. Hampton. And R.J. Hampton, for those of you who may not remember, he was one of those guys who just got a lot of popularity. Like, he was kind of in that LaMelo Ball tier when he was in high school. Like, these were the guys who were featured on Overtime, featured on Instagram a lot, featured on the YouTube channels a lot. Like, these were like the popularity hoopers that people were expecting to have a great career in the NBA, be picked like the high draft picks, and yeah, just ball out. And unfortunately, that hasn't been the case for a lot of them. I mean, LaMelo's been okay. LaMelo's been fine. But R.J. Hampton was a guy who was also one of those like famous, like the popular hoopers who were expected to have a great career in the NBA. I believe he got picked up in the draft by the Nuggets, if I remember correctly. I forget which draft he was. I think he was in 2020 with Tyrese. I could be wrong. But he got picked up, he got drafted, had pretty lackluster career thus far, couldn't really stick to an NBA team, and now he's on our Summer League team, which is interesting. I hope the best for him. I mean, if we find a way to make it work and keep him on the main roster, if he does show enough, I think that would be cool. I mean, he's good friends with Tyrese. They kind of grew up together, so that would be an interesting dynamic. Even if he doesn't, maybe we keep him with the G League team. And another name that caught me off guard a bit was Tony Bradley. Now, Tony Bradley, this caught me off guard because I guess I don't know the full rules of the NBA Summer League, because I thought I was under the impression that after a certain age, a certain amount of years in the league, you couldn't do Summer League anymore. That's what I thought, at least. Tony Bradley, I believe, is almost in his 30s. He's been in the league for a good, I want to say 6, maybe 7 years. And we had him for 1 year. He was an underrated backup center. He didn't have the same, he wasn't as dynamic as a Dwight Howard or a Andre Drummond. But he showed out pretty well enough as a backup center for this team. I still remember the one tweet at the point when Joel was injured. He tweeted out one game when Tony Bradley was having a really great outing for us. He said, "I've seen enough. Build a team around Tony Bradley." So that was funny. So it was nice to have Tony back. Maybe this is a bit of a audition point for him to see if we bring him back on the Sixers. Because yes, we have Andre Drummond. However, it doesn't hurt to have more insurance in the backup center, especially considering Adam Bona, who was also drafted to kind of fit that role, is going to have to get minutes at the 4. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, best of luck to him. I hope that he does play well, and I think he's probably the most experienced guy on our roster this year. In general, I think the whole Sixers Summer League roster is probably the most experienced out of a lot of rosters this year's Summer League. So it's going to be interesting to see. Normally, you would think that translates to us winning the Summer League, but I'm not going to put all my eggs in that basket. I'm not really worried about Summer League championship. If we do get it, it would be nice, but I'm not really going to harp on it. It's not something I need us to do. Well, all in all, I'm very excited to see how this Summer League pans out. I'm excited to see what McCain can do. I need him to come out and just pop as many threes as possible, just to shut up the haters and critics. Since he got drafted, he's been getting criticized so much for his TikToks, the nail paint, and while he's a player who obviously, as you can tell from looking at his interviews, does not let that get to him, and he just does him regardless. Still, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, I need him to pop out and show niggas, because I am getting sick of this. I think he can be a really, really great piece on this team. He just needs to go out and show it. He needs to prove that that draft pick wasn't a waste, because a lot of fans are still up in arms the fact that we didn't get Dalton Knecht, who, mind you, didn't exactly have the best Summer League debut for the Lakers. It's the first game. I won't full judgment, but, just saying. So I think this is a great time. This will be a great period for Jared McCain to come out and show that, listen, I ain't soft. I'm not somebody to play around with. I got game. I can hoop. I'm going to show you. It's going to be fun. I'm excited to see how his dynamic with Ricky Council goes, because they both seem like dog type of players who just really want to win at all costs. So this will be fun. This will be fun to see. I'm excited to see Ricky's development. He's been putting in a lot of off-season work at the Sixers complex on his own time, working with the trainers. It's going to be interesting to see if Ricky can take that leap, similar to a Tyrese Maxey leap. Because Ricky, for all accounts, so far has seemed like he has a similar work ethic to Tyrese. It'll be interesting to see if that pays dividends for him on the court coming into this Summer League and moving into the regular season. This will be a great period for him to show what he can do and how much he's grown, how much he has worked on his game. So we'll see. If he has the confidence, I'm all for it. I cannot wait to see it. So yeah, that's pretty much where I stand on the Summer League. And I will be I'll try to make more recap videos on those games as we go along. We'll see. I may just wait until the whole thing is over and then just show just do a whole big synopsis on my reaction to how the guys played. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this, watching this. Again, I'm sorry for the bad audio quality. I bought a new mic. I'm just waiting for it to come. So this is how we're going to have to do it for a little bit, unfortunately, but we're working with it. We're going to get right. We're going to get right. But yeah, with that being said, I will keep you guys posted on any new free agency moves that happen with the Sixers. Please continue to subscribe, be tapped into the content. Yeah, with that being said, hope you have a blessed day, and go Sixers.